Let's talk about the film Caroline, which stars Samara Weaving as well as Gallner. This is directed by Carter Rehmeier, and I actually saw this at TIFF last September. This is a movie that I was very curious about, the synopsis and everything. Gallner was in it, which I think Gallner is such an incredible actor, and I'm very excited to see him finally, hopefully, make a push more into the mainstream, because I would love to see him more things. But at the same time, I'm very happy seeing him in these like indies and all that, but still would love to see that for him one day. And this is a movie that I was so curious about. Basically, Samara Weaving plays a girl who wants to get out of her small town in Texas. She meets a boy, Gallner, who is also a con person. So that kind of makes her start to get into some very, very not so good things. And you start to see their relationship blossom, love sparks, but also the cons start with both of them as they try to make it more and more. And they sort of like push more and push. And they keep pushing, and you're just like, okay, that's enough pushing, you can stop, because I don't think it's gonna go well. And then ultimately this turns into like a Bonnie and Clyde type of thriller, which I thought was so fascinating. And this is a movie that I really enjoyed a lot. It has a pretty awesome soundtrack as well, so it kind of feels like a road trip movie, a love story, and also a crime thriller at the same time, which I thought was great. The way they were bending all of these genres into one, it felt seamless. It didn't feel like one was poking out more than the other, which is always a thing you got to be careful about with these type of films, is you don't want them to feel like it's just using the other genres as a shield or something like that, right? They feel genuine. It feels like a whole complete story. And I really enjoyed that film for the most part. I do think it has some moments in the way that things are presented where it's not feeling as strong or as committed as other moments do. I think Gallner and Samara Weaving's relationship felt very strong here, but there's some moments where they try to do, I would say, more emotional stuff for them in their character and all of that with other people, that it just doesn't really land that well for me. And that was the only thing with me. I think that this movie really is solid as a romance. It's really solid as a crime thriller, but rest of the drama and everything throughout, it's just not really there. I think there's amazing line delivery here throughout here for the characters as well, and there are moments where I'm just truly feeling it all. I'm feeling it, and I'm not gonna lie, I cried a couple of times during this movie watching it, and it was so interesting. I was sitting like a couple of seats down from Gallner and Samara Weaving and the director, and that was such a vibe to watch it like that as well. And I think that this is a movie that people are going to see and be like, you know what? These two got it right here. It definitely feels like this could also become like a cult classic of sorts, because it has enough of that, I would say, midnighter feel as well, but also, you know how some of these like romance movies and things like that are looked back years later and people are like, that was a good movie. And I think that this is definitely one of those. I think Gallner as well delivers one of the best lines I've seen throughout the whole year, especially towards the end of the film. It is such an amazing delivery, and the way it's just showcased through the artistry of the camera movements, the lighting, and all of that. Really, really solid stuff here. It's shot beautifully as well. The intensity of the southern like sun and all of that, and the rural areas and all of that, really great job here at really sort of putting this American feel to the film in a bottle, and it really just feels incredible. And I feel like I said it really a lot, so I always have like a phrase or a word I use a lot in these videos, and I think today it's really. So anyways, I just think the film kind of stumbles a bit when it's trying to find where to go, because this movie in its middle part can feel a little bit repetitive, where it's like we're seeing them on a road trip, we're seeing them blossom the relationship, do a crime, and then repeat, and you're just like, well, let's see what else we can do, right? Let's not just keep showing these montages and all that. So the film can kind of get buried in montages, but when the film decides to just go for it and push through it, that's when it kind of shines, and that's when it's really becomes something special. I think about feeling trapped, feeling isolated, wanting to get out, doing whatever it takes. And sometimes, you know, love can come in the way of that, and sometimes greed can kind of get in the way of love, and I thought those moments were the most fascinating. I appreciated the montages when they happened at first, but ultimately when they keep happening, it sort of kind of brings the film down for me. But I still think it's great. I still think it's a solid film. I think these two really lead it well. I think this could definitely be Cal's best performance to date, in my opinion. I really loved him in Strange Darling, but I think here he really gets moments to flesh his character out and show the range, because this is a con man, but there is a lot to him as well. There's a lot of death and all of that. I do appreciate Samara in this. I think she is more solid here than she is in her other films. I haven't watched Adam's other films. I know people said Dinner in America is really great. I believe that also has Kyle in it, and I definitely want to check it out after. But yeah, I just saw that the trailer released today, and I haven't watched the trailer. I would suggest maybe don't watch this trailer because it might have some things that spoil it. I'll put a little description here if I tell you you shouldn't watch the trailer, because I think sometimes we've gotten these trailers where it just spoils a lot. Like, I went into this movie not knowing much, just knew Samara was in it, Kyle's in it, directed by Adam, who did a great film, Dinner in America, and also the little synopsis that just read that a young woman wants to escape her small Texas town, and she goes with a con man. That's all I knew. And I went in and was just like loving everything about it, because the film does an incredible job at starting like something, a romance of sorts, and then ultimately spiraling into these other things. And I think Adam has a really amazing way of handling all of these tonal shifts and whiplashes that come with it, and it still feels contained. It doesn't feel like they're just done randomly just to throw you off and to make you be surprised. It truly feels that they were intentional the way he does it, and I really appreciate that from the director as well. It is written by Tom Dean, and I think his story is so beautiful, especially when you really think about it, and just everything that happens in it. It is such an incredibly told story of Caroline, that's her name here, Samara's character, and you'll find out more in the film why that is, but I don't want to spoil it too much. But overall, still solid film. I just didn't really like in its middle act, it sort of feels a bit repetitive, and I think that some of the emotional beats don't really play so well. It's just mainly the love story between Kyle and Samara that's really strong here, but the more they try to do with these characters, it just didn't really land. So overall, still solid, beautifully shot, amazing soundtrack, incredible performances from the two, a very, very solid love story as well. And the crime aspect of it as well is pretty thrilling. There were some moments where I was on the edge of my seat wondering if this was it, this was the moment they were going to get caught or not, and you're just waiting to see what happens. And I thought that that was really, really solid for them to do it that way. Overall, check it out in the theater. I think it's worth checking out there, especially if you're a fan of these actors, if you're a fan of Adam, if you want a good love crime thriller, this one's it for sure. I don't think we've gotten enough of these, and I'm just hoping Kyle really breaks through that mainstream pretty soon, because solid actor. But anyways, as always, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this film. If you're excited for it or not, check out our review on Hokum already did. Tons of other reviews coming your way. I'm probably going to redo the Obsession review because I just watched it at South by Southwest and have more to say now, so stay tuned for that. But as always, I'll see you next time. 50,000 subscribers is the goal. Let's get to it. Stay safe, stay positive.